Another beautiful day for a drive out on a four-wheel drive park, and joining me today is Brad from Outback Armour. Brad, thanks for the drive.
No worries, Cam. Thanks for having us.
Now, let's talk a bit about Outback Armour, because you're a new player relatively in the market space for four-wheel drive suspension, only 6 years young.
Yep.
You know, what makes Outback Armour different from your opposition?
The team has been in the industry for a very long time.
Yep.
And they saw a need for something different. The players that were out there doing a great job, but there was a lack. And where we've gone is just sort of gone back to basics.
Yes.
And really just trying to improve your four-wheel drive, not necessarily to make it a monster truck, just to make it a more capable off-road vehicle.
So I know the technology you're using is quite new. The suspension on this Hilux that we're driving on, we're going up a single path, so...
This is straight off the shelf. This is our new adjustable range, so it's actually a valved adjustable shock absorbers and struts on this particular vehicle. And what that does is just allows the customer to fine-tune for their application and what they're doing. So some vehicles you'll have lots of load in it, some vehicles you'll have none. This track we're doing today, it's a nice leisurely track. There's a few steep points, a few ruts and all that.
Yes.
And you can just fine tune it for the weight that's in the vehicle and the type of driving you want to do.
Okay, and you say fine tune, and it feels pretty compliant, to be honest, from this side of the car. So is that through an adjuster on so can that, the customer can actually do that physically themselves?
Yep, certainly can. Pretty much for me to jump out and change the valving front and rear on this vehicle, I'd be out of the car for less than a minute. You feel the difference, and I can make it the valving softer so that you have more comfort, or I can make the valving firmer so that you've got more control. And where that comes in, purely driver style. Myself, I like to go a little bit harder and a little bit faster. So this vehicle we've got set up with the valving a little bit firmer. So on this one you can feel it's a little bit harsher there. When you hit the tracks a bit harder, you'll feel that you can the wheels will stay on the ground and the vehicle just plows straight through it.
A lot of our OL customers, Brad, are serious off-roaders like yourself. Is there a product that's more at that adventure-driven owner or driver?
I guess at the end of the day, the product, the way that we've developed it, and we've got some very good heritage in the armoured vehicle overseas, being able to produce stuff that is very, very strong. So our armoured vehicle shocks, for instance, and struts, we use the same body, the same shaft, the same units. It's just different valving to suit the units over here compared to the units over there. So we know that they work, for instance, in a 6-ton 200 series, jumping through sand dunes, launching around. We can bring that product back here and know that it's going to handle anything that we're going to throw at it here in Australia.
Effectively, what you're saying is that some of the testing is done in those sand dunes, in cars that weigh 2 or 3 times the typical four-wheel drive, and then you bring it back and fine-tune it for the Australian conditions.
Exactly. The struts and the shocks, that obviously the valving is completely different for our Australian vehicles for the weight, but the strength of the bodies and the strength of the shafts and everything else are designed specifically to do that particular job. Brought back here, and we know that they're going to last.
So Brad, we're about to go up a fairly aggressive driving range here. Yeah, well, that's pretty impressive, I got to say. That's just eating that up. That's not your first rodeo either, is it?
No, not exactly, but it's just a family vehicle. Like, these vehicles are just used for your family taking the kids to school and that sort of stuff. And then it just shows that you can actually go out and not bash them about, but still do stuff that's not, just not your ordinary everyday sort of gear.
And also, I believe the Outback Armour package comes as one complete kit, so you're not buying extras. You go into your OL store, if you pick it, fits, everything's complete.
100%. We really pride ourselves on having the complete suspension packages to suit.
Well, Brad, it's actually been a fun drive today. I've learned a lot about the Outback Armour range. Thanks for your time.
Yep.
Thanks for the drive. It's still 2 hands, even though I know you're very experienced. Look, get into your OL store, check out the complete Outback Armour range. They generally have made an impact in the four-wheel drive suspension market.